Hey, welcome. National Flooring Equipment's virtual trade show. If you've been with us earlier today, welcome back. If this is your first presentation, welcome. I'm Tom Dunn, Director of Sales for National. Along with me is
Tom Griffin, Regional Sales Manager for the South Central U.S.
Fantastic. I'm going to start out talking a little bit about our history. We're in our 52nd year. Awfully proud of that. That's hard to make it 3 years, let alone 52. We're going to be discussing our walk-behind floor scrapers today. As you can see, we have a full assortment. Some of you are probably looking, hey, what's that blue thing doing? Well, that's one of our machines we built about 8 or 9 years ago. Might look really familiar to some of our folks over in Europe, particularly maybe around the Germany area. A lot of people gone through a lot of effort to duplicate this machine. What we want to talk about is what machine's right for you, what type of work you do, what's your price point. So we'll get a little bit more into that. We're going to do a couple demonstrations. We're going to use the 5280 to do a little bit of carpet removal. We're going to take a short commercial break here in a few minutes. I'm going to get the 6280 HD over down the other end of our warehouse, and we're going to do a little bit of hardwood floor removal. Another thing I want to touch base on, a little bit of, I don't want to call this housekeeping, but all the machines that you see in our facility today, they're for sale. Trade show floor specials. What's the pricing on that? Please reach out for both the floor specials as well as trade show specials within your company. Behind the scenes, Jake Sina, our Vice President of Sales, is answering questions. Please send him on the chat forum. He'll answer them and take it from there. So with that said, did the entry. We can discuss about choosing the right walk behind. This all starts, and I'm going to go over this a few different times, about managing expectations, about putting your end user into the right piece of equipment. A lot of that has to do, again, with the size of the job, what you're removing, what do you see your future jobs look like? You don't want to make a mistake of getting in something too small where you know you're about to expand into much larger jobs. But that's something that all of you can discuss with myself, Tom, Jake, anyone within the National family. Be more than happy to talk you through that. So with that said, we're going to talk a bit about applications, kind of use for each machine. Tom Griffin, talk to us.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom. And as I'm going over these machines, we're talking about applications and the differences of the machines. If you do have a question, please feel free to write it. They will interrupt me very politely and let me know what your question is. Tom and I are here for you guys today, so we really want to make sure that you, as our customer, as our end user, our distributor, are getting the most value out of this that you can. So without further ado, we're going to start with the Power Hammer Trolley. Just an easy thing to start with. We don't manufacture the hammer. We manufacture the trolley. And this is really great for doing hard goods removal, thin set removal. You can scrape glue with it. Right now we've got a flat blade on the front, which is great for doing thin set, but you could also put like a chisel tip on there to remove ceramics. This is the tried and true method for hard goods removal. The trolley really steps in for saving your back, for saving your body, and for making the work more efficient. This machine features solid tires here. You've got an adjustable height handle. The actual angle of the hammer is adjustable as well. And what really sets ours apart from the competition, especially on that, is when you adjust the height of the handle and the pitch of the hammer, the angle of the hammer, you're not squatting. There are some other machines out there on the market at this price point where you still have to squat. Well, what's the point? You just have to squat. Now you're not holding the hammer. Whereas this machine, this trolley, actually keeps you upright and allows you to work more efficiently and saves your body. Just in case something does happen, you do have an emergency switch up here. Like I said, it's a workhorse. It's loud, it makes a mess, but it's also kind of that old school tried and true fashion. An oldie but a goodie, as Tom was talking about, we've been making the 550 for a very long time. And this is one of those machines that you often see out in the market as copied, but never matched to what we can do. The 550 is great for entry level. It's great for rental, especially to homeowners, or when you're talking about that basement or an office with stairs where they can't get into it. It's a great companion machine for tight spaces because it is a manual machine. So this does feature our eccentric motion. So the blade on the front does not just ram into the material. It actually follows almost figure 8 motion so that the blade slices through the material as you're removing it. The angle and pitch of the blade is adjustable. The height of the handle is adjustable. And something outside of surface prep flooring that we typically see this used for is commercial roofs, especially flat roofs with membranes. This is a great machine for removing those because it's light enough that you're not going to have it go through this roof of the building, but it still provides you improved removal rates over just removing things by hand. Next step up, the 5280. This is another great machine for the rental market or somebody who doesn't do a lot of surface prep every once in a while. This is a self-propelled forward machine, and then you are pulling it backwards, so it doesn't have power reverse. The handle on this machine is not adjustable, so the handle is what you've got, and you do have variable speed. You do have a saddle weight as well as a front weight here that can be removed to make this machine easier to get on and off of the job site. And again, it features the eccentric motion of the blade. I'm going to be demoing this on the carpet that we have here. I also see this used a lot for sport court removal. It's just one of those machines. A lot of guys love it because they don't want to wait for the machine to come back on its own. So there's still that market. Then this is a great machine because you can just pull it back very quick and easy. The next step up is our 6280 Commander. This is one of our bigger bad workhorses. It just does a great job. We built this machine for speed, so this one is recommended for soft goods removal. On the front, it does feature the eccentric motion. You do have these side weights, which are adjustable, so you can slide them forward or backwards to either get more pressure on the head of the machine or to put more pressure on the wheels. The wheels do feature some siping, so you're going to have increased traction. The handle is adjustable, so you are able to change the height of it. If you're a taller guy or if you're shorter like me, you're able to pull it down. Another great feature is that you can actually pull it all the way down to horizontal, and you can do the same thing on our Gladiator, so that you're now able to get underneath counters in tighter spaces. And that also brings the point that the handles are adjustable. So I don't have to bend over to do the work. I can adjust the handle here, and now I have power forward and I have power back. This machine has great rates of removal for soft goods, commercial carpets, VCT. You do rescrape with glue on it. This is a great machine and also variable speed. Our biggest walk-behind scraper is our 6280 HD Gladiator. You might be thinking it looks very similar to the Commander, and you're not wrong. But there are a lot of differences, and the big ones that make this machine great for hard goods removal, you just can't see. Thicker axles, additional isolators on the inside. The tires are 2 to 3 times thicker on this machine than they are on the Gladiator or on the Commander. And with the Gladiator, we built this for torque. We really built it to remove hard goods. So you're going to be able to get into ceramics, and you're going to be able to do hard wood. with this machine better than any of the other ones. And we really don't recommend hard goods for any of the other machines. And that's why we built the Gladiator to take the brunt of hard good removal work. The same features that I just talked about on the Commander, adjustable handle, the slide weights are able to move forward and backwards, but you do have increased weight on the front, and this is just also a heavier machine. You do have lifting points on both of these machines up here where you are able to lift the machines. The locking pins, which you can see right here, lock the wheels to the axle and the hydraulic system. So pulling those out, you're able to freewheel the machine on and off of the job site, which really allows for increased mobility. And that brings up something that I've seen a lot, is that guys are always concerned with these heavier machines about getting them on and off of a job site. Yes, it's a concern. They're heavy machines. Obviously, I'm not going to be lifting one of these on my own, but I have an aluminum ramp, and I'm able to get, up or down 2 or 3 stairs very easy, in and out of homes. I had the Gladiator doing some tile removal on a wood subfloor, and it performed just fine. It just requires thinking about getting these machines on and off the job site in a slightly different way. But we've been building these machines, as Tom said, for over 52 years, and these machines go and go and go, and they are built to last. So with that said, obviously, as we're talking today, if you have any questions about an application for a machine, go ahead and reach out. But I'm going to hand you back over to Tom to talk about tooling.
Thank you, Tom. Tooling, you just got an earful, a lot of different walk behinds. The 550 through the Gladiator do share plenty of blades. There are very specific blades for the Gladiator. If the camera shows it, there's a wood shank currently on the unit. The shank that comes with the machine, the 1-inch carbide tip, the front is set up a lot like our ride-on scrapers. So the Gladiator will separate itself from some of the tooling. Once you put in a standard blade holder, the tooling is well shared across all 4, the 550, 5280, 6280 Commander, and the Gladiator. Both the Gladiator and Commander, I just want to say, do come with travel wheels. So as Tom said earlier, you pull out those pins, that frees up the drive shaft with the wheels. It's much, much easier to move them around a job site. If I'm moving it here, in some of these places they're huge, I'm walking it another 100 yards down the hallway, wherever it is. The travel wheels are certainly helpful. It's a lot of that just has to do with safety. You push back on that, you could hurt your back, you just don't know. But those are safety features. Strongly suggest putting those on when you do move them. It's a few bolts. I know that's a time thing, but safety is most important. So we're going to go back over. We have different blades set up on the units. On the table, it shows just a few of what we offer. I think we sell about 120 blades. I have 8 or 9 here. The 550 also comes with the 2-inch carbide tip shank. Great for those tough corners that one of the bigger units, the Gladiator, can't get into. Also super for ceramic removal on a residential arena only if you're going to try to do any quantity. So lots of options. This is what's on the Gladiator currently, and we'll see this in use here in about 10 minutes. If you have questions, please contact us on the chat. Call me, call Tom, whoever you deal with within National, please give us a call. Probably the most questions we receive within our facility is application or removal questions. What blade do I use? I'm taking this up, I'm taking that up. The answer is, we have it, but there's going to be a lot of questions we're going to ask. We're not trying to drive you nuts. We just want to get you to that proper solution. Again, it's managing expectations, and we'll keep talking about that, and I'm going to keep saying that because it is so important that I manage you, the buyer. What are you looking for? Who are you selling it to? That's critical. So we'll talk a little bit more on that. So that's it on blades.
What solution do we offer for keeping a fixed blade in contact with a concrete surface for our 550 and?
What we do have is the 6280-505. This goes on the front of the 5280 and the 6280. Basically what it takes, that fixed blade holder, turns it into a swivel. Your back wheels rock, those go up, blade's gonna stay in the work. This helps to keep the blade down. Also gives you a little bit more of an angle. You use this with an increased angle blade, fantastic.
And the 550. Yep, it really increases the productivity of the machine. As much as we would love concrete to be flat, it's most certainly not.
Correct. This is something I strongly recommend. I strongly recommend it. It'll make your life easier with those units. Yeah, maintenance. I'm going to paint this kind of with a broad scope because I don't want to go through each one and I'll just start sounding like a gerbil talking to you. Different things you want to check with each of these jobs, depending what you're doing. If it's carpet removal and anything with a hydraulic drive, carpet thread can get around the axles on the drive wheels. Always check that during the job and after you're finished. That carpet thread could possibly cut a seal. Isolators on the 6280 Gladiator and the Commander, those are wear items. They're intended to disintegrate. That's what's taking a lot of the brunt force. When you unload these machines, I'm going to say again, safety. If you can lift them off with those hoops on top, it's probably the safest. If you're going to go down a ramp, if you have the ability to plug it in and drive it down, that's pretty critical. I don't care who you are, anyone from the 550 on up. If it starts going down the ramp, you are not going to stop it. It's just that simple. So keep that in mind.
Maintenance on these guys is pretty simple, and I think that's one of the reasons that these have been in the market for as long as they have and continue to be the leaders in their categories, is that for guys who are only going to use these occasionally because it's not a core part of their business, when it's parked in the corner of the shop, you're going to come back to it and it's going to work just as good as the day you parked it there. If you're a rental shop joining us and you want to talk about return on investment, these guys come back from a rental and they're ready to go out on a rental. Unless the customer damaged them for some reason, there's really not a whole lot that is going to go wrong with it. So these machines are going to stay ready to work for you much more than any of the competitors' machines out there on the market.
Yeah, the post-rental check in, check out to get them ready to be go back out in the marketplace is a very quick turnaround unless something catastrophic happened, and that's typically probably due to hauling or dropping it. But great machines, rental companies like them because they are able to get them in quickly, check them out, make sure they're 100% and get them right back out the door. Rental companies love them, great ROI. Yeah, fantastic. The Blue 550, it's same machine by name, 550. You can see some changes. The weight has changed from a block to one with a handle. It's a heavier weight on the newer model. It still has the crank up and down, which addresses the blade pitch. The blade pitch doesn't have anything up front to go up and down. It's the back wheels. I want a steeper blade, I lower them, I get a steeper angle. So many of these machines that don't have it, when people use them, they complain about their hips hurting because they're running it like this. This, you don't have to do it. You crank it up. Early on, it has a bar back here. It's half round. You put your foot on, you can drive it. You can slip your foot off. People never really complained about that, but you had to be careful. On the new one, it's a plate. Your foot's not going to slip. What this also allows to do, instead of using my upper body and I'm going into a tougher removal, I can push it with my legs. Those are the strongest muscle groups in our body. That's what we want to utilize.
So yeah,
I'm sorry, Tom. Why is it blue? This is what our color used to be. I even think there were some black ones out there when everything was named Panther. But we phased out the blue about 5-6 years ago and went to our silver vein. Silver vein looks prettier, looks newer, longer, and That's one of the reasons. But you'll sure see these, like I said, around the marketplace. A lot of them look really close to this. A lot of them are blue, but they aren't a national machine.
You know, earlier this year, I had a customer call me. He had one of the original versions of the Gladiator, and it was blue and gold. And he had sent it in to be refurbished. I want to say it was 8 or 9 years old. And he wanted to know if we would buy it back because he wanted one of the new ones because it had some of the new features that he loved. But when I talked to him about it, he couldn't justify the price because the machine that he'd had for so long was still performing so well. There was no reason for him to sell it back to us. And that was a blue and gold one. So these machines that are blue and gold are still out there, and they're still going strong, and they're still being productive for the people that own them.
We had one in for repair, much to what Tom was saying. It was about a month ago. I'm not sure what colors it was originally, and I'm not even sure what the color was when I saw it a couple weeks ago. But that machine, I believe, was 18 years old. It's fantastic. Just needed a tune-up.
So we really, these machines are built to last, and we stand behind it. And
we do.
And truly believe it.
So what we're going to do right now is take a quick commercial break. We're going to get, oh, you know what? We're not.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. The question is, can the 550 and the 5280 do hardwood? To that, I would say that the 5280, no. Nope. It's for soft goods only. That's flat and simple. It doesn't come with a shank attachment, which ideally you want for hardwood removal. So, no, 5280, don't use it. The 550 comes with a carbide tip shank, and if I'm taking up a couple little pieces, maybe, but if it's commercially glued down, I don't think you're going to have much luck with the 550. So, because I want to manage your expectations, don't rent this. Don't rent the 5280. Don't buy them if you're thinking you're going to do hardwoods. You will not be happy. And,
I would say if you're looking for a machine that's on the smaller, lighter side to remove hard goods, you're going to be looking at the power hammer trolley.
Indeed.
Your investment, honestly, once you have the hammer and the trolley, is going to be about the same as the 550 for both the trolley and the hammer, but you're going to be able to remove the hardwoods and the ceramics at a much more effective rate. And this machine is built to take the beating of a hardwood or a ceramic, whereas these machines, as Tom was saying, for home residential use in a small amount, it would be okay. But for anything large or commercial, we really don't recommend it.
Yeah, and with regards to the trolley, and the next one within our fleet of walk-behinds is going to be the 6280 Gladiator. I'm going to manage these expectations. I'm going to drive you crazy on that. You have to score the floor. You have to score hardwood before you try taking it up with the Gladiator, the trolley with the hammer. Any of our ride-ons must score the floor.
And you'll see that at our demo coming up.
Yes, we will.
We're not going to score the floor for you. We pre-did that. Jake graciously pre-scored the floor for us, but we're definitely going to showcase that so you can see what we mean about scoring and cross-cutting the floors.
So we're going to jump around a little. We're not going to a commercial break, like I said. We're going to do that in a little bit, but Tom is going to get the 5280 ready. We got a piece of carpet right out here in front of us. We'll give Tom some power and give a bit of a demonstration.
Have you help me move this guy out of the way? Awesome. Thank you. Yep. So what we're looking at right now is I am going to remove a higher pile, thick pile carpet with the 5280. The blade that we've got on the front of it is a self-scoring blade. And especially since this is a higher pile, we're using a 90-degree wingtip. The difference between a flat blade and a self-scoring blade is that the self-scoring has these wings. And these are designed to cut through the carpet and to make it into a manageable piece when you remove it. It also allows the machine to work the full width of the blade here so that you're not actually trying to fight against, a 12-foot long piece of carpet. You're only going to be removing the 6 inches that the blade is in contact with. The 90 degrees are great for thicker, like a sport court, or if we're talking about like a higher pile carpet like we're going to do today. We also sell one that's a 45 degree angle. That's great for larger pieces of VCT or glued down carpet tiles. They work really great for that. So what we're using today is the self-scoring blade, and a traditional blade obviously just would not have these wings. So I've got that blade already on the front of the machine here, ready to go. I'm gonna turn this bad boy on, see what its speed is set at, and here we go. And one of the nice things too, I think we didn't talk about this earlier, is that I'm gonna turn this on, I'm gonna keep talking, and even though, yes, the microphone is up by my mouth, 2 people could stand next to this machine and have a conversation while the work is going on. So with that said, I'm gonna turn it on, and you can really hear me just fine. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because if you're gonna be doing this in, say, an office where somebody's gonna be working next to where you're doing the removal, you really don't want a loud machine, because at that point, the customer is not gonna be happy with what you're doing. Well, it helps if you don't unplug the machine as you go. Typically, if I was gonna be doing a larger job, I would be looping the power cord over the handle, just to make sure that I'm not gonna unplug myself like that. But since we're just doing this quick here. So as you can see, I'm doing the pullback, and we do have a power forward here. So I'm gonna adjust the speed a little bit higher so you guys can see that there is an increased production rate. And I think what I love about demoing this machine is that I'm using the full width of the blade here to do the work. I'm not cheating. I'm not putting only 2 inches of the blade up against the carpet. I'm using a full 6 inches. So as you can see, I'm actually skipping over the carpet, so I'm gonna slow the machine down. By slowing it down, I'm gonna allow it to really get in, actually cut that carpet, and do the work. Apparently this carpet just likes to tear. So there you have it. We can also do some flat carpet if you guys have a machine that you want to see being demoed on something else. Just let us know. But at this point, we're going to cut to a quick commercial, and we're going to go and remove some hardwood floors with the Gladiator.
Hey, just real quick, I'm sorry, I saw a couple questions come through. One is, does National sell a ramp? We do. Nick, great question. We do sell a ramp. We have those in stock. They're great. I'm sorry, right now I can't peel off my mind the exact weight they can take and the price on them, but we can certainly get that for you. Shannon also chatted a question in. How far apart do we do the scoring for the wood, hardwood, or even the engineered wood? A 4-inch on center we did for the walk-behinds. I always say that. That's what I stand by, 4-inch. We'll show you how that's done in a pretty neat fashion. If I'm doing a rider, I'm going 8-inch, a foot, and what we're gonna do is, after commercial break, we're gonna come back, do a little hardwood removal. I've got some things set up there. I got a show special I'm gonna offer down there, but you can kind of see what we did. We're not gonna run it, but we'll show you how we scored it. Thanks, we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
See you in just a moment.
We're back. You're back. Great. Tom, someone just chatted in a question. What was that?
Yeah, we had a great question about removing mortar or thin set from the concrete after you've gone ahead and removed that ceramic tile. And that's a great question because that's one of the hardest pieces that's left over. We recommend wetting the mortar or the thin set, not soaking it by any means, but just using like a nice spray bottle full of water just to get that nice and wet, let it kind of soak in. And then a 1-inch blade is really going to do wonders in removing that thin set. It's really going to scrape down to the concrete, or if you wanted to flip the blade over, so most of our blades are bevel up, but if you were doing, say, a wood subfloor, you could actually flip it over and run it bevel down so that you don't dig into the floor. And that's kind of the best way to remove thin set. You could also do it with the power hammer using a flat blade, but it's the same process of moistening that thin set or the mortar underneath there, letting it just kind of soak in, and that just makes it a little bit easier to scrape up and pliable. There is one caveat to that. In areas of the world where there is high moisture content in the ground, you can run across an epoxy reinforced thin set or mortar, and at that point the grinders aren't going to work on it. You really have to use a grinder with probably carbide chips or carbide teeth on there to remove that. So great question. Thank you guys for asking that. And I'm going to hand it over to Tom to talk about hardwood removal.
Tom, thank you. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of removal here, but as I've been almost at nauseam saying, manage expectations. So I'm either renting or I'm going to buy this machine, and I've been told about 80% of my jobs are hard goods. Ceramic tile, hardwood flooring, glues to the ground. This is a heavy glue. Thin set removal, 80%. And right now, the only thing I'm going to be able to get into is, in fact, the walk behind. Is this going to do every job? Most, but you got to prep the floor. Shannon chatted in earlier how wide apart are the self-scoring, and like I said, I'm going to use 4-inch for wood removal on this particular case. What Tom is holding is a blade that shows the 4-inch on center scoring. On this unit here right now, we have the exact same setup. We took the middle blade out and it became an 8-inch score. So what we did it with is this unit right here. It's 110 volt, 8-inch scarifier. Primarily these are in our fleet as sellable units is for this reason here. We're doing a lot of hardwood flooring. I'm going to use this. I don't want to walk into a gymnasium and have someone tell me, hey, you're going to get on your hands and knees with the Skills 7 1/4 worm drive. Not happening. This is fantastic. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money very, very, very quickly. So great unit. The blade comes as a 3-blade setup. Take about 10 minutes, pop off the end ring, slide out the middle blade, put the spacers back in, you're ready to go. Changing the blade out of the machine itself is even easier. So this particular unit, 110 volt, 8-inch, show special, flash sale. First PO that we get for two 6280 HD Gladiators, we'll give this to you. So let's see the PO. This one becomes yours. I'm not going to bend over and try to read the serial number, but we'll throw that in. This is a great tool. You'll buy many more of them. Appreciate it. So.
And another great feature on this bad boy, and we're all very familiar with dust control when it comes to silica dust, but even when you're cross-cutting a floor like this and you're creating a lot of dust on a job site, that's a really it's frowned upon now. You don't create dust. You don't endanger other people and their lungs. This unit, using the scarifier, actually has dust control built in. You can hook it up to your dust collector, and this is going to pull all of that wood dust as you're doing the crosscut up through the handle and out to the dust collector. It's the next level of cleanliness, whether or not it's required in your market. You can certainly advertise that we're the cleanest crew around.
All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to start up the Gladiator. We're going to remove a little hardwood flooring. Not going to probably do a lot. We can do a lot of things that are more exciting than watching this, but stay tuned. Let me get at this.
Safety is also paramount, even when you're using one of these machines and using a smaller area. As you can see, Tom Dunn, oh, you're good, Tom, you can go. Tom is wearing safety glasses. He's got gloves on. He's got steel toe boots, same as me. Really just be safe.
What I do want to say when I'm removing flooring, I'm starting at the end and working in. You try starting in the middle. We all know tongue and groove flooring. It's tongue and groove together. And you've got the lengths. You've got everything pushing in on it. Start at an end and work your way in.
It's also the glue we have down on this floor is very thick. What you would see in a real world application.
So I'm working it back and forth, loosening it up.
There we go. And you can see we're starting to break some of the boards up. They're starting to pop up off the floor. Some of the crosscuts didn't quite go all the way down to the concrete, so that's where you're seeing some of the boards break out in larger pieces.
As Tom mentioned earlier when he was discussing each walk behind, the Gladiator is set up with a set of 3-inch wheels, also siped, helps for traction. So I'm starting at the end, working my way up to pry it up. All right, I could do this for the next half hour, but anyway, you get an idea how that's all working. Jake, any other questions come through?
All right.
Any final parting words, Tom?
You know, there's a reason why we make a wide range of machines. There's obviously a use for all of them out there, so please lean on us, lean on your distributors to help you make the right choice for the machines that you've got. Other than that, you know, our next session is tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So it would be 11 a.m. Eastern, and we are going to be launching a new product, some scraper tooling. We're
Awesome.
very, very excited about
Everyone,
it.
thank you for joining us for this session, and if you were on all the sessions prior to this one, we thank you from National. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.